Hello happy people, my name is Dan and it's that time again. It's time to look at some more GM48 Game Jam games. These are all games made around the theme of Trapped and have been made in 2 days. So, let's see what we've got. Okay, so up first today we have got A Sonnet to the Mind by Alison James. And this is what we call a very peaceful, relaxing kind of game. The music, it's just so calming. What I find really interesting, so I was, you're this girl here wandering around looking for, well, I thought it was looking for the next part of the sonnet. As it turns out, you just go through the maze and the sonnet will appear as you progress through it. I was wondering if there'd be secrets or anything, but it's not. It just progresses into a nice sonnet as you go through. So, intangible, invisible, untaught, a conscious generated by the mind, continually manifesting through controlling me with uncontested reign. It's very beautiful, actually. What I find really interesting is Alison made this in, I think, less than 12 hours because she's got something going on with the doctors, so she wasn't able to put all the time in this time, which is a shame because Alison James games are always phenomenal. This one, due to the time constraints, is much more scaled back, but it is still that beautiful Alison James style, and it is, well, it's very calming, and it's very nice to have a little sonnet, just something that's in the jam, which is really nice. I hope you're doing well, Alison. If you are watching this, I hope you're feeling better. And as your sonnet suggests, I mean, I'm not a very poetic person. I'm studying the mind from a psychological point of view, but I'm not overly poetic. So I hope I'm getting the right message from this, and I hope you're getting the help that you need, and you're doing well. And yeah, that was a sonnet to the mind. Good job. And next up, a game I'm very familiar with because it's mine. Something that goes from very calming to very stressful immediately. This is Pressed, and what you need to do in Pressed is you are a notorious celebrity. In this case, I picked the celebrity Bree Kendall, not at all like any other real celebrities, and you have to answer the questions as they appear to salvage your reputation. And by completing these mini games, you get different answers, and then the answers you give affect your reputation either negatively or positively. Until you are presented with a wait for it, a trap question. Okay, I knew it was coming. A trap question is basically a question about the scandal that's brought you to that situation. So in this case, you have to pop the thought bubbles in order. There's different trap question games, and again, depending how you do on them, you won't actually gain any reputation from a trap question because it's a question about your scandal or your controversy, but you can just prevent yourself from losing too much reputation. This took me a while because I stayed up far later than I should writing that dialogue, something maybe I didn't need to do as much of, but I had a lot of fun with this one, and I hope you do too. Okay, so up next we have got Reset Protocol by Henry Hack. And Henry Hack does this very unusual thing with his games. They all seem to be very stylised around one particular colour. So we had Office Tower Throwdown, which was just all blue, Taxi Trouble, which was all red, and it seems the colour of the week, or the colour of the jam, is pink this time. It's very snazzy, very colourful, and you are playing as this Kirby-esque character, like a fluffy Kirby, and what you have to do is move these little mine things out of the way to shut down the spikes, to get to the computers and do different puzzles to unlock the sort of path as you go along. So you see there, this is the path I've done so far. I thought jump meant sort of jump in sight. I actually just actual jumped there, and I have awakened. That's what my message said. So that's where I started, and I moved down here. It's quite an interesting one. So the little the hazard light, I suppose, was the one that destroys these bombs, mines, so you can get past the different paths. Then you've got the lasers here. It's the thing is, I really like how this is done, but I'm rubbish at puzzles. So when I saw the sort of pushing, pulling things puzzle like this, because there are a few games that sort of follow this style, I was like, oh no, I'm going to be so bad at this. And I actually nailed this bit first time. I could have cried. I'd never do that usually. But more often than not, I am so bad at puzzles. So I was so surprised. And I saw this and I thought, Oh god. There's a lot to take in, but it's a good game. I really enjoyed it. Nicely done. Okay, so up next today we are Boxed in a Minefield by Fatchewa. I can't pronounce the name very well, but Fatchewa always makes brilliant games for their game jams. And in this one, what you have to do is you are in a box trying to escape the minefield using the numbers as clues for how many mines are across the field. This is again another puzzle game, which is definitely not an area I thrive at, as you can see by my basically brute forcing my way to the exit. But it's quite an interesting concept. I'm sure there'll be a challenge in trying to find out how many times you can get through it without dying. But I just brute forced my way through a lot of it. You have to get through to the right. You can use your mouse to mark off areas where there are mines. You use numerical clues to figure that out, and effectively try not to do what I do, which is die a lot. It's a very clever concept. So you have this gigantic minefield, and the numbers just and there's a fish with legs, because of course there is. I always like a little hidden Easter egg like that. Fish with legs is a sort of ongoing joke amongst the GM48 crew. Because it was a theme that was suggested a while ago, and it's just kind of carried on as a bit of a a consistent joke. But yeah, it's quite an interesting concept. I made it to the extraction point after dying probably multiple times. There's definitely a way you can do this without dying, but I am just brute forcing my way through. But that was fun. Good job. And finally today we have got Outbox by Team Blue and Mean. And in Outbox, what you were doing is you are trapped in a box, and you need to get out. It's a really simple concept, but it's done really, really well. You're this cute blue, I want to say Tic Tac, and your goal, just like that, is to get out of the box. What you have to do is use so if you're close enough to an object, you will grab it and move it around. It's all very sort of physics-based. You see I'm sort of throwing that lamp around, and if you're close enough to an object, you can then grab it and move it around and stack them on top of each other to get out. I'm kind of reminded of Part-Time UFO. I don't know if you guys have ever heard of that game, but it's a stacking game, and you have to stack all these physics-based objects on top of each other as high as you can, and it's really, really very fun in that sort of respect. And it just very much reminds me of that, but mouse controlled. And it's all about just making sure you have all of these things stacked up so that you can form a nice path to the exit. It's really, really well done. I appreciate the sort of level of detail that's gone into this, including, and I'll show you in a bit, I'm really impressed by this, a level editor and a speedrun mode. A level editor especially, usually when you've got such a short amount of time, you don't get something like that. So that was the next level. I just thought I'd have a look at the next one, and there's a lot going on there. But look at that level editor. How incredibly creative is that? For such a short amount of time, I was very impressed by the amount of content in here. So even though it's only 12 levels, you can effectively create as many levels as you like. And it's also good shadow effects, good use of pixel art. It's overall a really solid entry, and I had a lot of fun with this one. And I think that's going to wrap it up for today. So if you enjoyed, and I certainly hope you did, please feel free to stick around. There are 15 games this jam, and I'll be looking at the next ones in the next video. So until then, bye!